You know, it's funny how something so ordinary, like, have you ever had a weird bump on your tongue?
Oh, absolutely.
It can totally send you down, like, this rabbit hole of, like, what is going on with my body?
Right.
So that's what we're talking about today. Those bumps on your tongue, what they are, what causes them, and, when you need to maybe worry.
Yeah, your tongue can actually tell you a lot more than you think about your overall health.
Interview.
To really understand those bumps, though, we have to start with the kind of basis of your tongue.
Yeah.
And they're these tiny little structures called papillae.
Okay.
And imagine these like microscopic landscape covering your tongue.
I can picture that. Yeah.
Some of them are shaped like little mushrooms. Others are like threads.
Wow.
And they are responsible for how we perceive taste and how we perceive the texture of food. So when those get irritated or inflamed, that's when we get those
So
bumps.
that burning sensation when you burn your tongue, that's those papillae freaking out.
Exactly. And sometimes it's as simple as that, like an injury.
Mhm.
Biting your tongue, burning it on a hot drink.
I mean, I feel like we do that constantly, little traumas to our tongues. But I bet there are some weirder things too, right? What about this thing called lie bumps? I I just the name alone is amazing.
Yeah, lie bumps are interesting. They are these temporary inflammations of the papillae. And honestly, they're a bit of a medical mystery.
Really?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what causes them, but some researchers think that it could be linked to like tiny injuries, like if you grind your teeth or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
While others think it might be related more to your immune response.
So stress could be a factor.
Potentially, yeah. Stress can definitely impact your immune system. And some experts even believe that it might play a role in triggering those bumps. Diet and hormones are also thought to be involved. So it's kind of like your body's way of sending a little signal.
Pay attention to me.
Exactly.
What about when you get those like weird patches on your tongue, almost like a map?
Ah, you're talking about geographic tongue. And that's a type of glossitis, which essentially just means inflammation of the tongue.
Okay.
So what happens is your body sends inflammatory cells to the surface of your tongue, and those cells can temporarily change the texture and the color of your tongue, which creates those map-like patterns.
So weird.
And they can even like migrate around your tongue a little bit, which is why
Yeah.
they call it geographic tongue.
My tongue is deciding if it wants to be a rainforest or a desert.
Something like that, yeah.
And that's totally normal.
It can look very alarming, but it's usually harmless and it tends to resolve on its own.
Okay, so we've covered some, like, common bumps, harmless bumps. But the article also mentioned canker sores. And, like, I get those, and those are not fun.
No, definitely not.
So what causes those?
So canker sores, those are the small, shallow ulcers that you get, like on your tongue, inside of your cheeks, maybe even on your gums.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, much like lie bumps, the exact cause of canker sores is still kind of a mystery.
Annoying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're so painful. It can make, like, eating, even talking difficult.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it can be really uncomfortable to deal with. And like I said, we don't have that like single cause, like this is what causes canker sores.
Yeah.
But research suggests that there's a few things that kind of contribute to them developing. Things like stress. Oh, there's that word again. Minor injuries in your mouth. Maybe you like bit your cheek or something. Certain foods could even trigger them. And even hormonal changes, believe it or not.
So you're saying, like, a paper cut and a stressful wind can give me a canker sore?
It's very possible. And they're often your body's way of saying like, hey, something's up, pay attention.
Oh.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Give you a little something to focus on.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a maybe a little bit more serious note, the article also mentions some things that are less common, but definitely, a little more concerning when you have a bump on your tongue, like HPV, even oral cancer. I mean, that definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's important to be aware of those possibilities, even if they're not as common as, like a canker sore or a lie bump. And that's why it's so important to kind of be mindful of any change that you notice in your mouth and know, like, when should you go to the doctor? When is a tongue bump worth that trip?
Yeah, that's a good point. What are some, like, red flags? What should we be looking out for?
So the article highlighted a few key things to keep in mind. First of all, any bump that sticks around for more than a week or two and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better, it's worth getting checked out. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Schedule a visit with your doctor, your dentist, whoever.
Yeah, I mean, if it's lingering, that's not good.
Exactly. Another red flag is if you see like the bump changing, like pay attention to the size, the color, the texture. Is it growing rapidly? Has it changed from, a normal pink color to like a darker red or even white? those could be signs of something more serious.
What about other symptoms too? Like if you have a fever, if you're having trouble swallowing, those are also red flags.
Absolutely, because your body's all interconnected. So don't ignore those, like seemingly unrelated symptoms. If you're experiencing those along with the tongue bump, it's always better to be safe than sorry.
This whole conversation is making me rethink my oral hygiene routine.
Really?
Maybe I should be upping my game a little.
Well, the good news is a lot of what we talked about today, those common bumps, you can prevent those or at least minimize how often you get them just by kind of taking care of your mouth a little bit better.
Okay, so spill the secrets.
The most important one is, no surprise, good oral hygiene.
Of course.
Brushing twice a day, flossing daily, those are non-negotiables.
Yeah.
But one thing that people often forget about is tongue scraping.
Is that really necessary?
It is. You'd be surprised how much bacteria and like food debris and just gunk can build up on your tongue, even if you brush your teeth regularly.
Okay.
Using a tongue scraper just helps to gently remove that buildup, and it just creates a cleaner, healthier environment in your mouth.
Okay, fine. I'm sold. Tongue scraping, it is. What about home remedies? Anything surprisingly effective out there?
Yeah, the article mentioned a couple of good ones. Gargling with warm salt water. It sounds simple,
Yeah.
but it can be really effective. It helps to soothe any irritation, reduce inflammation, kind of cleanse the area, and just promote healing.
Simple. I like it. What else?
Your diet actually can play a role too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're prone to tongue bumps, you might want to think about cutting back on acidic foods and drinks, at least for a little while. Things like citrus fruits and tomatoes. Even coffee can be a culprit.
My morning orange juice is not my friend.
It's all about balance, right? But yeah, pay attention. See if there are certain things you're eating or drinking that might be contributing to those bumps.
Interesting. Well, this has been, seriously eye-opening. It's amazing how something as small as a bump on your tongue can really be a clue to what's going on in your body.
Right. It's fascinating. And it shows how connected our oral health is to our overall well-being. It's a good reminder. Like, next time you're brushing your teeth, take a look.
Yeah, look at your tongue.
Yeah.
All right, so to wrap up, we've learned that most tongue bumps, totally harmless. But important to be aware of those red flags. And of course, brushing, flossing, tongue scraping, all those good things can help prevent them in the first place.
Absolutely. And if you're ever unsure about anything, if you have a weird tongue bump that's concerning you, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor or dentist.
Always good advice. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of tongue bumps. We hope you learned something new and maybe even feel a little inspired to give your tongue a little extra love.
Maybe try out that tongue scraper.
Yeah, there you go. Until next time.